say is defining when we know how to solve something. So if we're given quadratic equations like we are about down here and on the back and on the next page, we don't know. We have to decide which method to use to solve these. So what we're going to take notes on is when to use each method. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So why do we solve? What are we always trying to find when we're solving quadratic functions? What variable? The x, exactly. So why do we solve? To find the value of x. Because I'm going to write more, so I want to make sure it all fits. If the equation, yeah, I'm starting up here just because there's going to be more, is set equal to 0, these values are also the, what are those called? What are we talking? Yes, x-intercepts. Good job. Nice job. Yes, absolutely right. So our first method, which you guys should be familiar with, solving by square roots. What real world type of problem did we solve by square roots? What was it called? What are our two types of real world problems? Velocity and falling. So which one did we use square roots by? Falling, yes. So that's where you've seen that. Exactly. This method, oops, sorry. This method is used when the equation is missing. What are your ideas? What type of term? A B term. And that looks like a number times x. What? Nope, that's for solving for vertex. This is just, you're using this method when your equation is missing a B term. You're going to isolate x and square root both sides. We're just writing how we solve. Isolate, sorry, you'd think I'd be good at this by now. Isolate x and square root both sides. A little note, don't forget the plus or minus. Because whenever we take the square root of something, it's x equals plus or minus that number. Solving by factoring. The equation must be in standard form and equal to what? Equal to 0. Factor the quadratic and set each factor equal to 0 to solve for x. So basically what you did on your quiz. One last definition. Solving by the quadratic formula. So what real world type of problem did we use quadratic formula for?
I know
Velocity. The equation must be in standard form equal to 0 if you cannot quickly factor use this method. If you want me to re-say something, just let me know, because I know it's a little sloppy. What is the quadratic formula? X equals divide by 2x.
Wait.
Do you want me to re-say this, or can you read it?
Well, I can read it. Plus or minus. No.
The equation must be in standard form equal to 0. If you cannot quickly factor, use this method. And then I just wrote in the quadratic formula. So make sure you have that memorized for the second test too. Oh guys, your test I think is next Thursday. So tomorrow starts our review. We're starting the review early. What? Break is the week after next week.
We have like 7 days. 7 days.
Yeah, I think only 6 now. Yeah. All right, guys, let's look at number 1. This is really important, today's notes, because when you're given a bunch of these quadratic equations on the test, Josh, you have to know which method you're going to use to solve. So looking at number 1, what are your first thoughts? What are your first thoughts to solve? We have 3 methods. Shamar, I don't want to have to move your seat. Solve by factoring? Okay, let's try it. Let's factor it. What are we going to do first? What does it have to be set equal to?
0.
So how?
Minus 14.
Minus 14. X squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. What does A equal? 1. So what am I going to put in these first 2 spots? Bless you. What am I going to list the factors of? 14, which is our C term. What are the factors of 14? Which factor pair do you want to choose? They have to add to a negative 5. So do you want to choose 1 and 14 or 2 and 7? 2 and 7. Raise your hand if you would say negative 7.
Oh, you said negative 5. Oh, yeah. Negative 5. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was
So if you're what?
minus 5. That's the X. Yeah. Make it better.
What do you mean?
Like, I think
X squared minus 5x minus 14.
But you can't really see those stuff.
Why? X squared minus 5x.
I couldn't see it. I didn't see it.
Okay, I'll rewrite it then.
For
Why does it say X2?
What?
Why does it say X2?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
multiplication, right? Or addition.
Do we ever have a multiplication sign?
I don't
No.
know.
Okay, so let's try our inner and outer. Let's see if it works. We have, what's my inner? What's my outer? Does that give us a negative 5x? Yes. Does negative 7 times 2 give us negative 14? Yes. So are we done solving this?
No.
What do we still have to do?
Make it square. I think
Make what equal 0?
the
each factor. So we're going to have x minus 7 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. How am I going to solve for the first one?
Plus 7.
Plus 7. So our first x-intercept is 7. Ooh. I don't know why I wrote that. Equals 7, and then minus 2, and you get x equals negative 2. And we're done. Number 2 is going to be a little bit different. So let's take a look at number 2. What method are we going to use? What is missing from this? A B term. So what method are we going to use? Solving by square roots. There's no bx anywhere. So what do I do?
I'll plus the 4.
Yes. Why would you add the 4 and not subtract the 23? Yes. Yes, because he wants to get x by itself. So we're left with 3x squared equals 27. So this step, I really want you guys to pay attention to because I saw a lot of mistakes on the last test about this.
What do you use for whole numbers?
Yeah.
You have to divide.
Not yet though. What do you have by 3?
Yeah, and then
So the reason we didn't subtract 23, we added 4, is because this has no b term, we have to isolate our x. So x squared equals 9. And get x equals plus or minus 3. Perfect. All right. Where's my ball? Christian, are you going to start us off? All right. This is our talking ball, our talking dodgeball. We can use the monkey if you want. I still have the monkey. Okay. Okay, but this is what we're going to do before we throw it. We're going to say the person's name before we throw it. Shmar. Facing forward. Yes, so you're not throwing it at them without them knowing. I'm just going to ask one question every time you get the ball. Davian, which method would you guess we are going to use to solve? What's your first thought? Do we have a B term?
Yeah.
We do. So what are our other two choices? We can factor or use a quadratic formula. What do you want to do, David? Davian? We have two choices. What do you want to choose? Okay, let's do quadratic formula. Throw the ball to whoever you choose. Careful. Careful, guys. I don't want anyone injured. Shamar, can you give it to Josh, please? Thank you. All right, Josh, what do we have to get this set equal to before we start? What do we have to get this set equal to before we start? 0. So what am I going to do? How do we get this equal to 0? What do you want to do? You have multiple options. We want to get all this information on one side. Okay. Sure. So then we're left with 5x squared minus 11 equals 6x. What's my next step, Josh? Yes. Yes. Negative 6x doesn't combine with anything, so we're just left with 5x squared minus 6x. Exactly. So we have 5. Because I write huge and I can't control it. If you guys need to get another piece of paper, you can do so. I'm going to add a page and just rewrite this. So we have 5x squared. I'm rewriting it. Minus 6x. What was it? Minus 11?
Yeah, minus 11.
And we chose to solve using quadratic formula. Josh, pass the ball off.
Who wants to call the name anyone? Gene.
Gene. Gene, get ready. Come on. Easy question. Come on, heads up. You're going to let it hit, Gabriella? Okay. So, Gene, what do I label? To do quadratic formula, what are those three letters? A, B, and C. What's my A? 5. What's my B? Negative 11. All right, Gene, you can pass it off now. Shamar? All right, Shamar, good catch. How am I going to plug this into the quadratic formula? So I'm going to have negative. We're doing, this is why we pay attention. We're doing quadratic formula, so we have negative b as our first part. So we're having a negative 6, plus or minus, yes,
minus 4, 5, 11, negative 11.
all over.
2 times 5.
Thank you. Emily. How am I going to simplify our first part? We have a negative 6. Yes. 6. Yes. Is my sign going to be a negative or positive? Whoever's music that is, can you turn down?
It's going to be positive because the negative times the negative is positive.
Yes. Can you guys take out your calculators? What is 4 times 5 times 11?
4 times 5 is 20, and 20 times 11 is
220. What's 2 times 5? 2 times, yes, that's going to be next. 2 times 5 is 10.
It is? Oh, listen.
Careful of your negative signs.
Oh, do you want me to go?
Jeffrey told me the inside is going to be 256. Do we all agree?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Emily, you can pass it off.
So I didn't pay attention.
You could get a piece of paper if you want. It's up to you. Okay, Gladdy, what is square root of 256?
16.
16. What am I going to do next? You don't want to go again? Okay, pass it off. Rosalina? What am I going to do next? So 6 plus 16 over 10, and then 6 minus 16 over 10. 6 plus 16, 22 divided by 10, 2.2. 6 minus 16. Guys, careful of your negatives. 6 minus 16. So these are our x-intercepts. And we're done. My suggestion to you on the test, if you can factor it, factor it. Sure, we can jump to number 7. If you are factoring it and you're just not getting the answer, that should be the moment where you say, okay, I'm just going to do quadratic formula because that will definitely give me the answer. Personally, I would try to factor it before I do quadratic formula. Well, I'm glad that you chose quadratic formula because we have that practice now. Okay, so we did what number was that? Number 3? We did number 3. What do we want to do next? Are we all good with trying 7? All right, pass it off. Here, you can pass it to me. That's a long throw. Shamar, why don't you choose someone I pass it to? Because I know you know the answer. So you pass it to someone. David. Okay. Which method do you want to use for number 7? It's right on the board. We have 3 options. What do you want to choose? Quadratic formula? What's another option we could choose? We could also factor it. David, do you want to keep going or do you want to pass it off? All right, pass it off to someone, but say their name first so you're not hitting anyone. Actually, pass it to me. Okay. Noah. What is my first step? What do I have to get it set equal to if I'm using quadratic formula or factoring? Did you say 0? Did you say set is equal to what? 0. So yes. So what? How am I going to get all this information on one side? Subtract what? 5x. So let's subtract 5x. So we're left with 5x squared plus 3x minus 7 equals 3x squared. Now what? Yes. Remember, you can only subtract it with like terms. So the x squareds can only subtract. The x's can only subtract, and our constants can only subtract.
Oh, I thought you said negative 3 squared. So I'm like, what?
What did you say? What did you say?
Did I do something wrong?
No, what did you say? Oh.
Okay, so is this what you guys got?
Yeah.
Do we want to factor it or quadratic formula?
Quadratic.
Should we try to factor it? So maybe it's a little bit shorter of a process? Quadratic formula will still work, so if you choose to do that in your notes. That's not wrong. To do quadratic formula, no, as long as you get the right answers. But let's try to factor so it's faster. Yeah, that's another thing. If you're more comfortable, if you're more comfortable with quadratic formula, do it. If you're more comfortable with factoring, do that. So what are my factors of A? No, you can pass it off. Pass it to me first. And then you tell me who to pass it to.
Who's that?
Shakira? Come on, I don't want to throw it at you. It's coming. It's coming. All right, you can pass to him next. Just answer my one question. What are my factors of A? 2 and 1. You can pass it. What does that mean if I have my factors of A be 2 and 1? What's going to go here? 2x and x. Yes. Now what do I list the factors of? Which are? Where are you going to choose for the 1 and where are you going to choose for the 7? Right here? Right here? Where? Here?
Why do you put the 2x here?
It doesn't matter where you put it.
I like to put other things.
7 on the left?
Yeah.
So I heard someone say it's not going to work. Let's see. Is that ever going to get us a 3x? Okay. So let's switch them. What'd you say, Jeffrey? You have to only do factors of 7, and that will get you 14x and 1x. Is that going to get you 3? So what do we have to do for this one? So this is an example of one where factoring does not work. So you guys on your own do quadratic formula, and then we'll post it up. What? Thank you. You hate it? Is it long? I did this one pretty quickly. This one's pretty... No, but I'm saying, like, it doesn't take a long time to do. The numbers are pretty nice. Okay, so we're doing numbers... What are we doing? 5? 7? 7. And we're using quadratic formula. All you put for A is 2. It's always just that number. So yes. Okay, so I'm going to start to do it, and then you guys check with me when you're done and see if we match. You can just pull one out of that little pencil box. you want me? Oh yeah, 'cause you can't get out that way. Shmar, are you writing this in? Come on, write this in. How do I? No, I couldn't figure this out. So did you guys finish number 7? Is that why you're talking? Are we good so far? Do you match me so far? That's a 4. Hi.
So are we supposed to write really, really tiny?
I think so. On the test, if you said she's not here. Do you need something from me? Oh, thank you. On the test, if you asked if you needed to write on another piece of paper and staple it, that's allowed. Like it's not allowed. You can use another piece of paper. Try to write small. I get it because I am horrible at writing small. So just try your best. Try to do your best with it. Do we match so far?
Wait, no.
Did you guys get 8.1 or no?
I got 8.6. I did the same, but I did the 3.
Okay, that's fine. Shamar, you have this all copied in? Number 7? Please copy it in.
All of this work is just
I know. We'll do one that's less work. I got 1.3 and negative 2.8. Did you guys get that?
Yeah, I got that.
65. What did we do?
She said, oh, no. What did you do wrong?
Because it's b squared 3. Look. 3 squared minus 4a c. That should be under the square root.
Yeah, that's what I did. Oh, 3. Oh, I don't know why I did that.
Are we good? Do you want me to leave this up for a second? Yes. If you guys are done, do number 8. 8 is quick. 8 is quick. Yes. 5x squared plus 30. Perfect. Plus or minus. Don't forget that plus or minus because that'll be points off on a test. What am I doing? Does someone need my help? Yes, do 8.
this is not to be.
Oh. April 28th is my last day.
Because I understand now. I want you to leave and I don't want her to go.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say. You could always say that. For a student teacher? Do you like your English teacher? Your English student teacher? Are you upstairs in 211? Oh, okay. I think I know who that is. Are we good? Can I move on to number 8? If you didn't get everything I wrote, look on with a friend. What method did you choose for number 8? Square root. That's what I did. because there's no BX. Josh, listen to your peers. What did we do? What'd you guys do first? Tell me, or I'm gonna have someone give the ball around. Plus 6. You like the ball? All right. 14 plus 16. Josh. Shamar. Okay. Josh. 14 plus 16. 30. Oh wait, what did I do wrong? I just did something wrong though. Yes, I did put on there. Now what? Now what, Josh? No. Yeah. So we get x squared, and now what are we going to do? X equals plus or minus 2.4. Don't forget that plus or minus. Don't forget that, because that's a stupid point off to take on a test. You don't want that to be your reason. Yeah, highlight it. Write a little note. Don't forget plus or minus. Which one do you guys want to do next? Whichever ones we don't do in class are your homework, so choose 6? 6 is a little, no, 6 is different. Yeah, so that means there is a B term. So what am I going to do for 6? She's exactly right, because, guys, it's a little too loud. Can't hear. Gabriella said because this has 26 has an X attached to it, that is a B term. So there is a B term. Yes, you can use the quadratic formula, but let's try the other way. Let's try factoring it. So you can factor or use quadratic formula. Watch this, because this one's a little bit different. What do I first have to get a set equal to? Shmar, where's your packet? Come on. So what do? We have 2x. We subtract 26x on both sides. I subtracted 26x from both sides because we have to get it equal to 0. Okay? What do you guys, what's that little acronym that we use to the first half? What does this have? It starts with a G. GCF. Is there a GCF here? What is it? Careful. 2x. They both have x's in them, so you can pull out a 2x. So now what's going to be left over? Exactly. Now these are our two factors, so all we have to do is set each of these equal to 0. 2x equals 0. X minus 13 equals 0. What is this going to become? 0. And what is this going to become? 13, and we're done. So guys, before you leave, really quick, your homework, how much did we didn't, I think we only didn't do 6 of them, so there's like 6 left. So whichever ones we didn't do, finish them for homework. If you have any questions, message me on Remind, and I'll help you walk through them. Really? A lot of people can still talk. Shin knows how. Bye.
Yeah, I got it.
You should show her how you did it.
I have her on the thing, but I just don't know.
Yes. Hold on.
Yep.
Oh, that works. I never really